Greetings, friend, and welcome to the Park Hopper Daily Interviews. This is show number 5 for Monday, March 1st, 2021. And in today's episode, we unlock the mysterious memories of Anita's experience in the Disney College program. Was it all cotton candy clouds and magical moments with Mickey? Or did the pixie-dusted promises leave much to be desired? Join your hosts, Kathryn Manu and Anita Boyer, as they deep dive into this unfortunately now defunct program to hear one less than positive perspective about the supposed happiest internship on Earth.
Hey, it's Kathryn Manu here with Park Hopper Daily. I'm here with my partner in crime, Anita Boyer. And today we thought it would be fun to talk a little bit about the Disney College program. Anita participated briefly in the Disney College program.
Very briefly.
And currently that program has been suspended as a result of COVID-19, but I know I've had a lot of questions for Anita about the program, and so we thought this would be a good venue for that. Hey, Anita.
Yeah. Hello. This is going to be interesting because I think that I might be the one and only person. I mean, this isn't true, but I'm the only person that I know who did the Disney College program and hated it. Like didn't not like it. Like hated it. It's not good.
So, yeah, I mean, I think you're the only person I've ever heard of that hated the DCP. Okay, so I've always wanted to know about your DCP experience. So just to get started, where were you in university? What inspired you to enroll in the college program? And what was the enrollment process like? What was the application process like?
So I was a sophomore in college. Actually, I guess this was the pitch was at the end of my freshman year at Ohio University. I'm from Ohio. Go Bobcats. And yes, every rumor that you've heard about Ohio University is true. We like to party.
My older sister went to OU. Yeah.
Halloween, of course. So the pitch was phenomenal. You know, they came in, they set up, there goes my notes. They set up this whole like PowerPoint presentation, which was kind of a biggish deal in the early 2000s. They had all of these beautiful sales pitchy items. And they took our application, like they took our information, and I believe they just sent us an email, and we just filled everything out and just sent it in, and then they emailed us back to say whether we got in. I was applying originally for the summer internship, which they wanted me to come in for the fall, because that's when most of the program comes in, because they want you there for that holiday period, and they don't want to be training you for the holidays. They want you trained, ready to go, ready to work 100 hours a week come the week of Thanksgiving. So I was, it was to be my fall trimester. We had 3 semesters at Ohio University at the time. So it was going to be my fall trimester was going to be at Disney World.
And so you, of course, were a lifelong Disney fan. So your interest in that program outside of their flashy presentation, was going to obviously be there. I'm curious, though, in terms of like, when you apply, are you applying for a specific position within the company, or is it like a general, I'm just applying to the college program?
Yeah, so you actually have 0 input. You don't get to choose if you're going to be in food service, in custodial. I was considering changing my major, which I didn't. My major was video production, and I'm glad, because look at these lights, right? But I was considering changing my major to acting and performing arts, which would have been appropriate for my life as well, it turns out. But I really wanted to be a cast member, like a face or a fur, or dancing in the parades. I've been dancing my whole life. I really wanted to do some of the guest like more streetmosphere. I know that they have my number one coveted role. If they offered me this job tomorrow, I would move to Florida tomorrow. The tap dancer in Hollywood studios, it just kind of goes around. It's like, oh, hi, Don, how you doing? He was looking at you, kid. Tap,
You
tap,
would be
too.
excellent at that job.
Right? Disney. I don't care. You could pay me $7 an hour and like all the Mickey pretzels I can eat. Just kidding, don't do that. But I would do that job. So that is what I had in my mind. Being in Ohio, there were no auditions, because that is a role that you have to audition for, specifically if you want to be an actor performing at Disney. So, and there was no way at the time that I was going to be able to go to New York or California or Chicago where the auditions were actually happening. So the recruiter assured me, this was broken promise number one. She assured me that just apply, take whatever they give you, and once you get down there, you can audition and we'll take care of you. That was number one thing that did not happen. As soon as I got down, I got assigned to food service, which actually was one of the better positions. I got to sell popcorn like in the boxes for Fantasmic, just kind of like going around. So I kind of felt like a character. I just go around like, hello, popcorn.
And you get to watch Fantasmic, presumably.
The first 3 minutes, yes.
Okay.
But those are the 3 minutes that always make me cry. And even when I hated everything about my job and my decisions and everything with the Disney College program, I still got choked up when Mickey like popped up, even if it was my like 10th time seeing it in a row, like days in a row. As soon as Mickey popped up, I just went, okay. Dang it, I
just got like a little bit of a goosebump situation happening just thinking about that, because it's
Right?
been so long since we've had anything like Fantasmic in our lives. It's actually interesting. I saw another news channel reporting that they were doing testing at Fantasmic.
Yeah, I saw Disney Food Blog posted about that.
So did Blog Mickey. That's where I saw it. And
Nice.
I got so excited. I was like, what does this mean? Is this the beginning of something? But we can get into that in another news show, of course. So just rewinding a little bit. So you're accepted to the program and you're going to go down for the fall. So you go down there, and what are those first few days like?
The first few days are the most organized chaos I have ever witnessed in my life. Like, if you can imagine like intake day, like someone's first day, or your first day at any like kind of entry-ish level job, it's lots of paperwork, it's lots of teaching, showing you, because we were not only there to work, we were moving there. These were all kids who like, so I'm there, I'm moving in with my suitcases and I'm getting my paperwork for my job. So the Disney College program, they put you up. You have to stay, I guess, unless you live there. I don't know any details about that, but if you're coming from out of state, you have to live in their Disney College program housing. I lived at Chatham. I think I'm saying that right. We call it Chatham House. And it's basically a condo. And you will have a roommate like in your room. The way that our complex was set up, we had 3 bedrooms. So there were 6 girls, and each bedroom had its own bathroom. So that was fortunate. You only had to share a bathroom with one other person, which was nice. But then we all had to share the kitchen, living room, dining room. It felt very hotelish. It was clean. It was cool. The strange thing about it for me was just that everything was gas, electric, water, everything, rent, everything was just automatically taken out of your paycheck. So that was where, and you didn't have any choices about any of this. It was just kind of, you are going to come here and work and pay and do whatever we say. It just felt a little, I was grateful for the organization of it, because that's a thing that you don't have to think about, is where am I going to live when I go down and do this program. But it was a little like company store, like, you're going to come here and we're going to pay you, I think it was like $8.25 an hour. And then you're going to pay us most of that for your rent. So you're really just gonna work and live in Florida. And the biggest perk is really that you get to go to the parks on your days off. If you're lucky.
I wonder though, if in a way, one of the reasons they set that kind of system up is because otherwise they would be relying, I hate to say it, on college students to pay all of their bills and on time. And, you know, I don't know if that program has changed in terms of how they handle it, but I could see why you would want a system in place to just
absolutely.
You know.
Yeah. And in that way it was very organized and very well taken care of. It was just another one of the broken promises for me in my experience, because another thing that really drew me to the experience was the ability to live with people from around the world. That was one of the slides on the big presentation. It was, you are going to live and work with people from around the world. But every international student stayed in one of the condo complexes, and then they had everyone from the United States in these two other, in Chatham and Vista Way, I believe was the other one. So there was not even, we weren't even on the buses together. We weren't assigned anywhere together. I wasn't living with someone from Poland or France, or, you know, I was living with a girl from, oh my goodness, I believe she was from Tennessee. If that's wrong, I'm gonna just leave it, because for anonymity's sake, because we did not get along.
Oh no.
No. Poor thing. She was one of those people who would set her alarm an hour before she actually wanted to get up so she could hit snooze. And I was like, honey, that's fine when you're in your own room all by yourself. But when I also have to hear your alarm go off 10 times before. So I would like turn it off and like not to snooze. Oh, we battled a little. She didn't like me.
I think that's interesting, because one of the things that I always thought was kind of interesting about the DCP was that they brought in some of their cultural representatives through that program. I know that's something I really miss about Disney right now, is in the parks, you don't have any of those cultural representatives, people from all over the world. And a lot of those were younger people coming in through the college program.
Yeah, I know, it's so weird to go and order your baguettes and mimosas in France, and it's like some kid from Kansas, like, all right, here, enjoy your baguette. I'm like, okay, cool.
One day
I'm in Epcot.
Okay, so you were assigned to food service, and you were doing popcorn at Fantasmic. Was that like immediately the job that you were in?
Well, we got trained in a couple different areas so that we could be utilized in multiple places. But I was in Hollywood Studios, well, MGM at the time. We had the cutest, this was one of my favorite parts, was kind of getting to see the inner workings of how they clothe their cast members. Because think about how many different outfits, ties, ribbons, like shirts, vests, jackets, every single, well, not like you wear your own undergarments, right? But other than that, like Disney outfits you, and every park has their own like wardrobe. Like I did kind of feel like I was like an actor, like going in for my fitting, like, oh, this is so fun, you need a costume. And you know, they like scan the barcode, and it's assigned to you, so if you steal it or lose it, like they know, and it's a big black mark on your permanent record. That was the thing they threw out at us the most, like your permanent Disney record. And that was kind of, because not everyone enjoyed their assignments, especially, I know, like some people get assigned custodial and it's fabulous, and I'm definitely not saying anything disparaging about custodial, but some people, when you're a college kid, you don't want to be going around picking up trash necessarily. So some people were constantly trying to switch out of that, or, you know, switch assignments, and they're like, well, if you switch or if you quit or whatever, like if you do something the wrong way, you're going to be blacklisted from being able to come back. And that was everyone's worry. It's like, we have to do a good job, or else we're never going to have the chance to do something else at Disney. Like, even if, you know, we just got to make it through these 3 months. So there were definitely some times that felt a lot of pressure to do, kind of stick it out so that we didn't end up on the dark side of the Disney list.
Well, because the truth is that the Disney company does generally promote from within. And, you do see that there are some very high level executives who started out like parking cars at Epcot.
Yeah.
And, you do have the ability to move up in the program. So I could see why for somebody who's maybe striving to be an executive or like a VIP tour representative, some of these higher level jobs, even within the park, you're going to be really nervous about having that black mark on your DCP permanent.
Absolutely.
Come on, man. And with the local DBC news.
Okay, so I hear that as a part of your college program, you may have an LL Cool J story to share with us.
Yes. Okay, so this might be the coolest thing that happened on my short time on the Disney College program. A family rented, and by family I mean like there were a few hundred people there. I think it was like a big extended family reunion. But they rented out MGM Studios, and I also realized I'm wearing my 100 Acre Hoodco MGM hat today. They rented out Hollywood Studios, MGM, and they had this huge stage set up in front of the Sorcerer Mickey hat, which was in front of the Chinese Theater. It was then the Great Movie Ride. So they had the huge Sorcerer Mickey hat out in front of that, and then they had a stage built in front of the Sorcerer Mickey hat. And a select number of cast members got to come in and work this crazy huge event. They had Hollywood Tower Hotel and Star Tours and Rock and Roller Coaster open. So just the people who were there could like ride those, no wait times. They had some food carts open, and I was running Nut Wagon 6, which was just to stage left. So I could see just the side of the stage, which was really cool. The opening act was Charlie Brown, and he did his whole thing. I got to hear the whole concert. People are constantly coming up to me, getting their nuts, their sodas. It was really cool. And then LL Cool J was supposed to perform. He gets announced. He comes up on stage. Music comes on. He goes to start to sing, and the audio just blips. The audio like drops. And they pause the music, the track stops, everything stops, everyone's like, oh, Cool J, everyone's like screaming and like chanting and trying to like amp him up. The track starts again. They think they have all the text figured out. Doesn't work again. And he says an expletive that I won't say on the show. It's just like this, drops the mic off the stage, leaves. As soon as he leaves, everyone starts freaking out. Like, this was the big, being at MGM and having the park, like, just to you and your extended family, that's a big deal. But, like, he was the headliner. Like, this was what everyone was there to see. And then he just, like, bounces. So they start closing down some of our carts. They decide to close down my little Nut Wagon 6. I'm like, no, but I want to stay. But, they shut me down, so I'm like wheeling, I got the big cart, I'm like pushing my little cart back to the backstage area, which my entrance was by Star Tours, that big gate right there next to the left of Star Tours. So I go backstage, and the next thing I know, this stretch Hummer pulls up, and I'm like literally like this far away from it. And it's LL Cool J. They convinced him to come back, and he's just like sitting there, and I'm just like, but I didn't get to go back in because they already shut me down. But I don't even think that the audio worked. I think he made it through like 2 songs just because they begged him to come back, and the audio was really like spotty. Many people, I'm sure, got fired that night.
I was gonna say, that's a pretty big fail, given like what I would imagine it would cost to not only rent out MGM, now Hollywood Studios, and have LL Cool J performing.
Yeah.
That's an expensive evening.
It's an expensive evening to mess up. So, but I got to be there. I got to be there the day that LL Cool J was dropping F-bombs in the MGM studio.
That's awesome.
It was very funny. That was probably the best day of my college program.
Good college program story. Okay, so you had mentioned early on that your experience with DCP was slightly short-lived.
Yeah, so I got lucky. I got out. I escaped. I dug with my little
Tell me
spoon.
about that.
I tunneled out of there. No, I had a very strange situation happen at my on my college end. I had a summer class that was supposed to be a fall credit, like as an internship, that they applied to the summer, but I hadn't done any of the work for it because it was set up in the spring to be a fall internship. So it got put into the system wrong. And in order to go on this program, but to keep my roommate who I was going to have when I came back to school for the winter and spring semesters, we had to say that we were okay with her having an exchange student just for the fall. Which she didn't love, but she did because we wanted to be roommates when I came back. But when the girl moved in, she was just a regular student who was there for the year. And so we called the registrar, and I had been listed as a dropout because I had not completed any of my coursework that had been applied for the summer, even though it was supposed to be applied for the fall. So then there was a whole scene of my sweet mother, who, if you know my mother at all, she is the caringest Care Bear of them all. She like drives out to Ohio University with my dad, and they're kind of going from office to office, from the radio television building to the registrar, and they're just getting like sent back and forth until finally she busts into the president's office of the university and she just screams, "I demand to speak to the president!" And the wonderful, sweet secretary was like, okay, just have a seat. We're gonna take care of you. So they got all of that awkward, strange registrar mess sorted out, and they kind of put it to me, and I'd been at Disney in the college program for a month. I'd been having a terrible time. There are 2 other broken promises that we will talk about. And they talked to my supervisor at Disney in the food and beverage department at MGM. And they were like, listen, this girl's like whole entire college thing got kind of screwed up. Can she please just come home? So I got to come home without the huge like black bar on my Disney permanent record. I hope. I've never really tried to work there again, so I don't know. Maybe I am on the Disney blacklist, but it's been more than 10 years, so hopefully someday I can go back. But
I would have to say, given the amount of attention that you've given to Disney, and the amount of promotion for free that you've given to Disney, I would have to believe they might look the other way.
That's true. That's true.
So we'll finish with the bad and then we'll get to the good. So what are the 2 other broken promises that the DCP?
Right. So I could not audition. That was like the biggest thing that I really wanted to do. As soon as I went down, I asked them, I said, so I'm here, I'm assigned in the food and beverage department, which is great. I'll sell popcorn. I'll sell $8 Bud Lights. That's fine. But I'd love to audition. That's what I'd like to do with my life. And they're like, oh, that's fabulous. Yeah. The next audition is on December 29th. This was August like 5th or 6th. You know, I had just gotten down into the program. I was like, oh, so you mean 3 days before my program is over? That's when I can audition. I get to do like 3 or 4 months of food service, do my entire program, and then I can audition. No, that's not what anyone, that's not right.
People do extend their DCP from what I understand.
They do. And that was one of the biggest things. That was like my 3rd broken promise was they portrayed the program as something that was worth missing school for. And I had a Templeton scholarship. Like I had a full ride scholarship that was partially diversity and partially like merit based, and like being in classes and having the right amount of credits was essential to my being able to continue to keep my scholarship and do everything that I was supposed to do. That was the whole drama with the credits from the summer that were supposed to be in the fall so that I could maintain my scholarship. And when I got marked as a dropout and they asked, well, what are you doing there? That's counting in the fall for these credits. After being there for a month, I had to honestly tell them nothing. And there were supposed to be classes that were available for Disney College Program students, and they showed us the whole list of them. It was all kinds of how they make the magic, how they do the lighting, how they create the shows, how they develop, all these different things. And when I went to apply, and once I got down there, they asked what my major was, and I said, oh, I'm majoring in video production. And they're like, well, then you don't qualify to take any of these classes. I was like, okay, but what? Maybe put that in a slide. You had to have an engineer, you had to be a major in some sort of like mechanical engineering program in order to take any of the classes there. So I was like, this was one of the biggest perks of doing the program, was having access to the knowledge. Like I can sell overpriced beer anywhere. Like I'm doing it here so I can learn the Disney way of creating, shows and doing things.
That's really interesting, because I would think that they would almost have a responsibility to have some sort of supplemental education occurring. Again, like you said, if you're in food service, outside of how to be really good at food service. You know what I mean? Like I would feel like that would be an essential part of a college program.
Yeah, and then the fourth and final straw for everything, we were also supposed to be able to job shadow, and that was the other kind of side of why is this worth doing? Not in the summer when you're off anyway and just kind of doing what you can to make money, but like to take time away from school and your program. I was so excited to be able to job shadow, like sit in the booth of Fantasmic and see it from behind the scenes. I was so excited to like meet the people, talk to them about their lives, and see if that was really what I wanted to be doing. Meet the actors in Disney. Maybe I spend a day with one of them and I change my mind completely, or I become 100% dedicated to following in that path, But there was nothing. It was the same situation. There was never the opportunity to actually do any of that, at least in my experience, and I'm speaking only to my experience. And maybe I did something very strange early on, but I tried really hard to get into these programs, and it wasn't really there. I think they kind of gave you all of the best case scenario possibilities and then just expected you to go and be a college student and be trying to just get into Pleasure Island, be distracted by just working as much as you can, and when you're not working, be in the parks all the time, and then go home and be like, oh shoot, I could have done that and that and that. And I, like, my first day there, I was like, okay, I want to sign up for this class and this class, and I'd like to job shadow these 3 people, and they're like, no. And I was like, right. So
I'll just go sell some popcorn.
Pretzel.
Okay, so obviously you did not leave DCP loathing the Disney company or Walt Disney World, because here we are, and you're sitting in front of a purple wall with Mickey Mouse right next to you. So what were some of the positives of your experience down in Florida during DCP?
I did have a couple of really cool apartment mates, my actual roommate aside. And I mean, she was a great person. I was a weird person to live with in college. I acknowledge that, like, being now like over a decade away from it. But it was cool to kind of be in Florida and be taking the bus to work at Disney. There was a fun factor of being a cast member at Disney, and that was cool, whether it's the Disney College program or not. I'm assuming being able to, as soon as you're done with work, hop in the bathroom, change your outfit, and not be in your cast outfit, and hop out and be in the park. And that was so much fun to just be in the park anytime I wasn't on duty. I got to explore Disney solo for the first time, which has since become something that I really love. And I don't know if I ever would have been brave enough to try it if I hadn't kind of already had that experience from when I was working down there. Um, let's see, there are other good things. I mean, my boss was really great. Like his name was Brad, and he genuinely was sad to see me go. He was like, if you stay, I could see you. He was like, I could see you being a trainer because I was good. I mean, I'm exactly what Disney wants. Like, I'm very good at selling things without making you feel like I'm selling you something. I'm very like friendly and happy, and I'll remember, I might not remember your name, but I will remember like all of where you went to school, like what your favorite ride is, what your order is. I'll remember all of that stuff, and I'll be very fun to talk to. I am a Disney character all by myself. So in that way, like I did very well there, and he was like trying to get me to stay and like promising me this like beautiful career like in the Disney food service industry. And I was like, thank you, but that's not for me. But I appreciate your care and your wonderful training. I got to do Disney EDU at the Disney Traditions. That was everybody's first like 3 days. That was only school I got, and it was a great schooling because it is everything you need to know about Disney customer service. At least for like your entry level kind of job. It was the training on how you will never see a Disney employee pointing with one finger. It's always at least 2 fingers, usually the whole hand. And so many other things that I can't remember right now, but it was a full 3 days of they wanted you to know the date that they opened. They wanted you to know Walt's birthday. They wanted you to know about the company, a thing that I think many businesses could benefit from because it immediately instilled a sense of pride in our work and a sense of like honor to be part of this like look at this amazing thing, and now I'm part of it. Like I am in the story now. And just like the language that we were to use, we're not employees, we're cast members. You're not at work, you're on stage, you're performing, your guests are your audience. It's the whole thing was very, very cool. And I definitely learned a lot about customer service and guest relations and how to create magic, which is what I do now with my theater company. And I feel like when I get my phone voice on, I'm like, hello, our fabulous variety show. How can I take your call? I'm like, oh, Disney college program. Thank you.
Well, it is true. I mean, I obviously never did the DCP, but one of the things as a guest that I really enjoyed about the Disney company, whether it was at Disneyland or Walt Disney World, is the customer service, which really, in the right moments, is the next level customer service, whether it's the person checking you into your hotel room or the server at your restaurant, or just somebody that's walking past you and sees your daughter with my birthday button on and is like, happy birthday, princess. I mean, it's like this level of attention that as a business owner myself, I really respect. And those magic moments that happen are really, I think, what keep people coming back over and over again. And you and I have talked a lot about this since COVID, especially since there have been so many cast member layoffs. The cast members are what make the Walt Disney Company so special and, have made it, I think, so popular over the years. It really comes down to that cast.
Absolutely. And I also just want to say for the record that it's been now 15 years almost since I had this experience. So if any of my recollections on what I was, what their sales pitch was, what their promises were versus what, I just don't want Disney legal calling me and being like, actually, the fine print says. It's like, okay, I am sure that Disney and their legal team actually did not break any promises. I am sure that there's fine print galore that says these are the potential opportunities that you might have. But But when you are a college student and you're specifically brought into a presentation, and these are the things that are, you know, the little sales pitches to snag you, to get you in, they should, in good faith, have those opportunities actually be available, or let you know before you go, like, hey, you know, you might have signed up for this and this and this. They're not going to be available this time. If you think you should stay at school. I mean, I have no regrets about having done it. I have so many like crazy memories and stories, and I got to go to Pleasure Island, you know, and that's the only reason why I ever got to go to 8-tracks and mannequins and rotations and the Adventurers Club. So I did not drink underage. Don't worry, Disney. I wasn't one of the reasons why you had to shut down. No, I wasn't. But yeah, you know, just, and so many people do the college program, and once you do the college program, I think that it's really worth it. It's not worth missing school for, unless that's where you want to go, and that's what you want to do. If you want, or if you want to be in like in the hospitality business, if you want to be like managing hotel staff or something in that kind of realm, then having the Disney college program on your resume is huge, I think. But if that's not really what you're doing, just consider, my only advice, hopefully when, not if, this program comes back and you're thinking about it, if you can't snag one of the coveted summer spots and you're thinking about doing it and you're going to miss school, just think about what the experience is going to be for you and what you want long term, and maybe staying on campus is actually going to be better to help you along your path, and keep Disney for your vacations and your fun, which is what I did, and I'm so glad.
So obviously the college program has been suspended as a result of COVID, and we actually have no idea when the college program will be returning. I think it's pretty safe to say that at least it definitely wouldn't be happening as soon as next fall, because I think application processes would already have to be in place, and I just don't know that from a vaccination standpoint, we're going to be there yet. But the good news is Disney did invest a lot of money in housing for the college program and for cast members. So I think fingers crossed that we will see that program, and also the cultural representative program.
I know, I miss that so much.
Which is such a big loss for Epcot. I mean, I'm sure visiting Epcot is still wonderful, and yes, you're still at a Disney park and it's still fun. But, you know, that was one of the best parts, was just being able to talk to everybody about where they're from and, you know, what their experience was. I mean, anytime we were in Epcot, whether it was a server or somebody at like a food booth or a merchandise location, we were always like digging into their personal life. Like, where are you from? Like, what brought you here? You know? Just because it's interesting and fun. And,
absolutely.
You know, great stories. So fingers crossed for all of that.
I know, I agree.
Okay, well, I think that should wrap up this week's podcast. Again, I'm Kathryn Manu, and this is my friend and partner in Park Hopper Daily, Anita Boyer. Oh, yeah. And if you are watching this on YouTube, do us a favor. If you haven't already, please subscribe down below, and please give this video a thumbs up. If you can leave us a little comment. If you've been in the DCP, what did you like about it? What didn't you like about it? Is Anita totally off base? Weigh
Probably.
in. Let us know what you think.
I mean, believe me, I hope that I'm the anomaly. I don't want anyone to have had a bad experience. I hope that my story is like, what? This girl's crazy. I'm fine. I hope you had a great experience.
Help our algorithm by letting us know. Anyway, thanks so much for tuning in. Again, Kathryn Manu with Park Hopper Daily, and we will see you real soon. What, Char? I'll be right back. Oh, the wonders of being a mother. Okay.